Let's see. Oh, there we go. Started early. Mikey Holiday, Cab, Jack, Jim. How you doing? Jimbo, you okay? Tim, Callum, Matty, Pete. Yeah, all good. All good, Jim. How are you? Not streamed for a while. It's oh, there we go. Struggling to keep up. Dave, Allison, Karen. Yeah, Jim, I've not streamed for a while. I've not been in the mood, to be honest. Tom, how you doing? Yeah, it's yeah, to be honest, Jim, last couple of weeks I've not, because it's training doing it. But you've got to be, if you've got a lot on your mind anyway and a lot going on personally, it's can't take on other people's problems as well. You've got to sort through your own shit as well. Well, first, to be honest. So I've been concentrating on that quite a bit. Finally got my appointment through the Wellbeing tomorrow. Oh, quality, Jim. What's that? What's that? What's that entail? If you don't mind me asking, message me privately if you. Hey up, Thomas. You all right? Yeah, I'm trying to get there next week, Thomas. On next Thursday. And JD wants to come as well. Excuse me. Is it pay on the door? Is it? I'm not sure. Obviously, with never being present at one before, but looking forward to it. It's been a tough couple of weeks for us. Oh, I think, yeah, for all our own individual reasons, it's you know, especially with anniversaries of certain events coming and going, and Christmas coming up as well. It's a lot of people under a lot of pressure from this time of year, and that's when don't know yet. First one to oh, brilliant! All right, keep us updated, Jim. Hey up, Rick, how you doing? Hey, Di. Hey, Karen. Lisa, Leah, Emily. Who's on this? Brian, Alan, Paul, Steve. Linda, Pete, Raoul, how you doing, pal? You ready for Thursday? Yes, mate. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Thomas. Yeah, Jim, it's especially with the background of addiction problems and mental health issues. It's I personally find this time of year coming into a period where a lot of focus is needed, just to keep you right. A lot of outside pressures come in, and obviously the season's festivities. You're expected to do more than what you normally do to, you know, to visit more places and things like that, and a lot of places where you can feel uncomfortable, and so you just got to be more vigilant, really. Yeah, already, thank you. Boxing on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. Keep them busy. Yeah, definitely, Raoul. I'll be there Thursday night, hopefully, mate. JD wants to come with us as well, so I've asked a few more. I'm just waiting on Waiting on replies. Danny, how you doing? Jeremy, Simon, last year's national championship on Thursday. All right, cool. Good luck, pal. Bad time can be a real bad time with years of mental health. Yeah, it can be. It also depends on the individual. So, you know, if you're a worrier, then oh, hang on, everything's bleeping. Why is that? I'll read that. Yeah, if you're a worrier and things, you know, financially hard as well this time of year, everyone's expected to buy gifts for everyone. And there's a lot of pressures from others put on individuals, needless pressure, I might add. So yeah, it can be difficult, and you know, people with addiction problems as well. It can be, if you haven't got control of it, if you haven't got a real, you don't run a tight ship, if you like, things can escalate quickly, and you know what your mind's like with feelings and emotions and things like that, it can get out of control. So just got to keep a close check on things. Who's gone? Elliot, Stuart, Kev, David, Will, and Ian. Yeah, there's loads of pressure, Thomas. Loads of pressure this time of year. But it's all about how strong we are as well. You know, obviously we're all different. Some Brett, how you doing, pal? Some mentally stronger, mentally weaker than others. It also depends on how far down the line you are into recovery or into treatment. But yeah, I'm not a fan of, for my own personal reasons, I'm not a fan of this time of year, Christmas and New Year. Not being bar humbug and all that, or the Grinch, but for my own reasons, I could do without really. But that's for me. Steve Dunkar, Kev. But yeah, so who have we got in now? We've got 3, 2, 3. Jeff Neal's coming. Glenn, how you doing, pal? So who do we have in? I don't know. Do I? Can I see? No. Rick, you're always here, Rick. You're a season ticket holder. I know one thing's guaranteed, that if you can make it, you'll be here. But everything all right with the old canopy, Rick? There should be no problems with that. We've had some strong winds recently. It should be all okay. In fact, I know it will be all okay. But yeah, so this time of year coming up, a lot of pressure on people with addiction problems, a lot of financial pressure on people anyway, but add any mental health issues or addiction problems into that mix, it can be a recipe for disaster. But it's all about how people control ourselves and it's about, I guess, no, I don't guess, I know, for myself, it's knowing what situations to put yourself in, knowing, and you know, you've got to be considerate, I guess, for family members as well, although you're more important yourself than, because if you don't look after yourself, then you're no good to anyone. But it's about knowing which situations to avoid and put yourself in, and how far you can take it, really. Again, not being a Grinch, but we'd rather go to sleep and wake up in March. I'm the same, Rick, but for our own different reasons, really. It's to be expected of you to go out and socialise, and which I like doing, but obviously not to the extent of what I used to. But I can tolerate it. I can tolerate people for so long, and then a couple of hours, that's me done. When people start slurring and chatting shit and spitting in your ear and shit, and they're talking, that's thanks, but no thanks. New Year, I mean, the longest I've lasted a New Year's Eve over the last 4 years, I think I did 5 hours, just in the local pub with my wife and my daughters. Now that was hard going. It was great at first. It was great till about 11 o'clock, and everyone started getting stupid. Hey up, Jacko. Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Just not been streaming much, as I said earlier. A lot of personal stuff to deal with, and this streaming is, if I'm all right doing it if I've got my own house in order, then I can take on other people's questions and things like that. But when I've got stuff going on myself, it's hard to I can't afford to put other people before me, if you like. I've got to sort myself out first. Liam, how you doing, pal? You okay? Marie's joined, Greg. But yeah, that's the reason why I've not streamed for a little while. Anniversary of deaths and things like that. It takes its toll. So, like I say, for these streams, I've got to be mentally right, or else I could get myself in trouble, and that's not what I want to achieve. But yeah, so any questions for me? Apparently my Wikipedia page has been updated, but I've not been on it to check. Yeah, I'm trying, Jacko. Yeah, it's just like when I first set out doing these streams, I didn't want anybody to latch on to them as a recovery tool, if you like, as a way of getting treatment, as a way of getting help, because I knew when I first started this, there'd be times where I wouldn't be able to stream, wouldn't want to stream because of where I was or where I am in my life. And I think we've only done 8 or 9 streams, but already people, if every couple of days people are asking me when I'm streaming or what's going on, where's the streams, and it's like, well, it's not, I didn't want this, I want to help people as much as I can, but I don't want people to become reliant on it, because I'm not fixed, if you like. I'm not normal, whatever normal is, but I always got to put myself first, and that's what I didn't want from the outset. I didn't want people to become reliant on them as a source of, as a tool, a recovery tool, as a source of, I want people to ask questions. I want people take information away, but I don't want people to use it like they'd use Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous or something like that. That's not what I want. That's not the aim. The aim is for people to ask questions and to get information, but people have also got to go down the right lines as well, as in go to the GPs, get signposted in the right direction, get professional help. But along the way, you know, if the streams are helping people, you know, running parallel with the professional help that they're seeking, then great, bingo. But not as in just rely on the streams, because if I don't feel like doing a stream, I won't do a stream, because I'm more important than anybody. It may sound selfish, it may sound harsh, but it's the reality of it. If I'm not right, I'm not good for anyone. So I've got to concentrate on myself. And depending on where I am in my life, that'll determine whether I stream or not. And that's just reality, I'm afraid. That's why, stream-wise, it's been quiet for the last 2-3 weeks or so. So yeah, so that's where we're up to. But everything's, everything's good today. It's been good. I'm keeping busy and keeping my mind occupied. Got loads going on. Well, that's it, Rick. You know, yeah. What is? Oh, I'm not. You know, I'm old enough and ugly enough, Rick, to know what I need to do. You know, I say what I need to do, but there's going to be swerve balls. Cheers, Liam. There's going to be swerve balls thrown in along the way, and they expect that. Am I ready to deal with them? Don't know. Don't know what they are until they get here. But people, like you say, Rick, fix normal, but people associate people who can drink alcohol and limit themselves. People class that person as normal, rather than somebody drinks as quick as they can, or as much as they can, as quick as they can, until they drop, which is where I was. I was in that category. Daniel, good evening, son. Cheers, pal. So I've got a fine blend now all the way over, Dan. That's what I've gone for. My winter coat. But yeah, so going back to it, I have to. Self-care is paramount, as it's been said. So that is what I shall do. Well, that's what I'm doing. Jim, your message has come through, mate. I'll read it in a bit. But yeah, all good, all good. A lot of people coming and going. So yeah, I mean, stream-wise tonight, just keep it short and sweet. Just checking in with everyone. Question-wise, a couple of questions I've had, but to be honest, they've been in previous streams, like my backstory that was in the first stream. Rather than bore you all to death with going through it all again, I'm sort of, the questions that have been asked already, I'm directing people to streams that, you know, to previous streams that I've covered that question on, if you like, because I sort of, as I finish the streams, I keep a note of what was discussed in the streams, and at what date that stream was. So at least I can say to people, you know, go on my Facebook wall, go back to such and such a date, and you'll find all the answers you want on that stream there, or look at that stream, and if you've still got questions, feel free to ask. It gets, I don't want to get repetitive for people who are, you know, there could be one person in the background now who's, if I start going on into my backstory, then, you know, they might get sick of listening to it, but they might be the ones who need help. So, and they might go. We don't want them to go. We want them to stay and keep coming back, and hopefully they can get the help that they need, of that person. But yeah, we've got a lot of people coming and going. But for anyone who's coming and going, or anybody who sees this stream replayed, I think this is the 8th or 9th stream now. There's a lot of questions. Go to the first stream. I'll put it up as a message. Go to the first stream. That gives you an insight of who I am and what I do and what I've done. And then the streams following on from there sort of picks up on where we're at, where we're at each time that we do a stream, and questions. I'll read that in a sec, Leo. And questions that other people, that viewers have asked regarding themselves or family members. Bags of coffee and golf and label. Yeah, that's right, Leo. That's I've put golf further up the order. I'd definitely go coffee, fags, golf, then diet coke, mate. But you know, you're on the right one there, mate. But yeah, so if you go back in the streams, on my, all the streams are available either on my YouTube channel, links are on my wall, or again on my wall going back. I'm not sure of the first dates, but if you go back there and catch up with them, then it gives you a better insight of where we're at as a little community that we've got going on here. And you know, you might not be the individual that has the alcohol addiction problem, or any mental health issues or things like that. It might be a family member. Go back, if you go back and watch the streams, then that'll get you up to speed. Because I don't want to keep going over the same thing, because people are going to leave, and then I don't want people to leave without, because that person who leaves might be the one that wants to ask a question. You know, we only get certain people talking, asking questions, you know, messaging. A lot of people are in the background lurking, just watching, just listening. And they're the people that we need to get talking. Saw something on Facebook today helping people sleep in rough and Northwich. Thought it was brilliant. Saying, yeah. Good comment there, Rick. I like that one, bud. Yeah, I mean, the world we live in, you know, Jesus, nobody should be living rough under any circumstances. I mean, I've spoken to a couple of people who live rough recently as well, and it's like one guy I spoke to actually preferred to be sleeping rough than in any sheltered accommodation, because he felt safer on the streets than in any hostel. It stayed in hostels in Manchester a few times, and he'd had stuff stolen or he'd been beaten up. Oh, Linda's here. You just plod along whenever you want, Linda. Don't worry. You're 25 minutes late. But yeah, so it's a short and sweet stream. As I say, go back and for any newcomers, we've got a lot of people passing through, and loads of people had friend requests off and sent out loads of friend requests. And there's a lot of people who have come and gone tonight who are new friends of mine. Basically, if anybody, you're right, Linda, anybody who sends me a friend request, I accept on the basis, my thought process is, start again, my thought process is, well, they might need help. They might have seen one of the streams, whether it be on YouTube or on here, and they might have a question. So I accept anybody's friend request. So yeah, what I will say to everyone is go back and watch the streams from the beginning. They're all in date sequence. They're all in date sequence on YouTube. Go back and watch them, because the questions I've had over since the last stream have all been covered, and I don't want to keep going over them again. I felt they weren't. I felt the questions weren't they were a bit off topic anyway, but they were covered in previous streams. So I've said, I've said to people, go back to such and such a stream, and pick it up from there. But like the person asking for my backstory, sent them back to watch the first stream and go from there. And they've messaged me since, and they're like, I've had a little conversation since. But Vicky House is a big user, and then anyone please be careful. Yeah. I've heard a lot of bad things come out of it, Vicky House, Stuart, but I've heard some good things come out of it as well. So I'm not going to judge. There's pros and cons in anything. Anybody who wants help, at least, the people who really want the help are. What I'm trying to say, I can't even. You know what I mean? It's the ones that are honest with themselves, who want the help, who will, sort of bend over backwards to try and get the help they want. Help isn't always as quick as we want it, as quick as we would like it, but nothing gets sorted in a day or two, does it? Everything takes time, and some people don't have time. Some people don't have time they need the help now, but unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Vicky House. I've read that one. Just saying, yeah, I understand, Stuart. Yeah, I guess it's the same everywhere. I mean, like Northwich, for me, my own personal opinion is, when I moved back here 5 years ago, Northwich was a complete. It was completely different to when I left 20 years ago. it's not just Northwich, it's got problems, it's everywhere. Drink and drugs. And, you know, Vicky House is one of the places that people can go to. I'd rather be in Vicky House than be into the. See, the thing is, though, Rick, some people wouldn't. Some people would rather take the chances outside. I know that for a fact. It's, you know, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for shelter, yeah. But yeah, people feel safer out on the streets than they do in sheltered accommodation, and it's for reasons that, you know, Stuart's pointing out, that people do feel safer outside regardless of the temperature and conditions. You know, when people are under the influence of drugs and alcohol, will go to extreme limits to get the next drink or the next fix. And if that involves stealing, if that involves violence, then so be it. You know, that their mind's misted by their addiction. So can you blame them? No, I don't think you can. You could do at one point for trying the alcohol or trying the drug, but then now their minds took over. Can you blame them? I don't think you can, personally. Would you go to sleep in a pub doorway? Would you go to sleep in a pub doorway? Are you asking me, Stuart, or Rick? Yeah, I mean, I guess you pair having a little conversation together. Yeah, the homeless lad, he's only a young lad, that I was speaking to, he said he would prefer to sleep on the streets than sheltered accommodation because of the point that Stuart's making. You know, threats of violence, threats of well, no, not threats, violence and theft. Hi, Andy, I do understand that I've listened to you having dealt with both and some mental health. If you take care and be positive, only do what you do. That's right, Carol, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I hope I never have to experience that. You know, in an ideal world, nobody would be sleeping on the streets, but if an individual feels safer actually being on the streets or would rather be on the streets than in sheltered accommodation, then that's their choice. Nobody can force them in off the streets. All as people can do, all as charities can do, or all as the government can do is provide a safe environment for every individual. And that's not what's happening at this moment in time. Whether it be Vicky House, whether it be, I'm quite sure it's the same throughout the country. You know, if people are preferring to sleep on the streets than have a roof over their head or a bed to sleep in, then that's their choice. But they're making that choice based on their previous experiences. Hi, Anne-Marie, you're right. And they're entitled to make that choice. You know, is it Is it a charity? Is it society? Is it the government's fault for not providing safe, sheltered accommodation? Whose fault is it? The, technically, you can't force somebody in off the streets and lock them in a room so they're safe, because that's holding somebody against their will. It's a grey area. What is the problem? Who's the problem? How's the problem come about, and how's the problem resolved? I don't know. I may not know. Sorry, I don't know. But like I say, it's a shame when somebody prefers to sleep on the street. They feel safer to sleep on the street under a bridge than sleep in a bed in sheltered accommodation. That's tragic. But given this, somebody desperate for drugs or drink, what lengths will they go to get the next fix, to get the next drink? Desperation. It is sad, Rick, but that's just the world we live in today. And it all boils down to money. In my opinion, everything I say is my opinion. Agree with me, disagree with me, do what you want. It's my opinion. For me, it all boils down to money. Money makes, money builds things. Money speaks volumes. Money gets things moving. Money creates jobs. Money creates structures. Money creates beds. It's all to do with money. And where's the money going to come from to get every single homeless person in off the street? It's like doing a children in need. Hi, Emery. Hey, great conversation on personal on how. Am I reading that wrong, or am I not understanding? Great conversation. Well, it can kill you, Frankie. Yeah, true. But I mean, in the discussion that we're having at the moment, money can save more people's lives. Yeah, money can kill you quite easily, but it can save more than it can kill. I think. It takes money to help people who need the help, and then people who have money then require help from the people who are helping the people with no money. Is that right? Yeah, but Frank, I agree with you. Yeah, money can kill you, but it can save more people than kill. Sort of. Investment. It's like investment in what, though, Stuart? You can't. All you can do, right, is provide a service. It's like the NHS, right? All you can do is provide a service. The service, regardless of the NHS at the moment, what state it's in or anything. Let's say you've got this structure that's purpose built for addiction problems, alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, whatever, any addiction going, right? You've got a structure. All as you can do is build that structure. You can't force people to accept the help that that structure is offering. So as it comes to investment, what are you actually investing in? You're investing in a building, you're investing in a facility. But then for people who are investing the money, any business person who's putting money up for an investment is going to want to see a return. So the return's going to come from private funding, i.e. private healthcare, or the NHS. The return's going to come from the government. But the return from the government is going to be offset against treatment. You know, the initial investment will come from the government, the NHS, but then long term, going to save on continued treatment. That's the hope, I guess. But for private investment, you know, private investors want returns. Now, whether that be private healthcare, America's all over that, isn't it? It can kill you in the wrong hands, i.e. with a drink. Yeah, you're right, Frankie. Sorry, so some literally chose to live on the streets. That's a person wish to live. But, so some individuals choose to live on the streets, and that's their personal wish to live. But how many others think they live life is owned by them? Can you elaborate? I think I'm reading that wrong. So, Anne-Marie, so somebody chooses to live on the street. That's, for me, that's fine. That's their wish. If they feel safer living on the streets than any hostel or sheltered accommodation that's offered to them, that's fine. That if they feel safer on the streets, that's fine. You know, that's their choice. You can't force people in off the streets. You can't. It's just, it's wrong. If somebody feels safer, if somebody feels safer sleeping under a bridge or in a doorway than they do in sheltered accommodation or a hostel or something like that, then that's their choice. I'm not judging somebody on the way I live. If it was in an ideal world and if it was my choice, there'd be nobody living on the streets and everybody would have a safe environment to live in. But that's just not how it is. Is that aimed at me there, Anne-Marie? I don't know. I'm reading your comments wrong, I think. Yeah, I'm not having a personal dig at anybody. I think it's a shame that somebody would feel safer living on the streets than what they would go into a hostel or, you know, sheltered accommodation. That's just a shame in my eyes. But whose fault is that? For that person to feel like that, whose fault is it? Is it the way the accommodations ran? Is it the charity that runs the organisations? Is it the government? Whose fault is it that that young man feels safer to live on the street? Whose fault is that? It's not the individual's fault. There's got to be something that's put that in the young man's head, that he feels safer to live on the streets in the cold, in the elements. Well, that's, I mean, if you go back in the conversation, Frankie, that Stuart was saying about Vicky House, and the conversation started about I don't know how the conversation started, and I was talking to a young homeless lad anyway, and I'm just scrolling back. Yeah, you know, lots of users, drug users in Vicky House, and it was going along the conversation of them, you know, people. Well, basically, the lad who I spoke to, was it you, Rick? Yeah. The homeless guy, lad, young man who I was speaking to, he said he would prefer to be sleeping on the streets than in sheltered accommodation because in the past he'd experienced his stuff being stolen and violence against him. And yeah, it's wrong, but um, but whose fault is that? You know, why is that young? I'm trying to get my head around what Anne Marie's trying to say because I think I'm reading her post wrong. What is it? You know, it's not the young lad's fault, the young man's fault that he feels safer living on the streets. But whose fault is it? I don't think it's the the user's fault or because they're not getting the help that they need, but not the help that they need. Yeah, the help that they need, perhaps not what they want. You know, it's finding it hard to say what I'm meaning. No, about sure. All hostels are renowned for criminal activity, and yes, a lot of people choose to live on the streets because of this. Mental health service has no funds to provide adequate service for them. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, this is that's what I'm trying to say without knowing them facts. And it shouldn't be happening in this day and age. How are they watching? Yeah, I mean, Stuart, how are they watching the stream? You'd be surprised how many homeless people have mobile phones. And, well, I was surprised. I mean, the lad who I spoke to had a pay-as-you-go, Stuart, and he had quite a top-of-the-range pay-as-you-go as well. Let me see it later. Can't believe I'm on the street. Yeah, I mean, the lad, Rick, the lad who I was speaking to had, well, his phone was only a year or so old. Yeah, and there's a lot of places that do free Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi is free even when this is something that I learned. Even when the actual establishment is closed, the Wi-Fi is still free, still on. So yeah, there is ways and means for homeless people to catch up on what's happening in the world. You know, no homeless person is going to go straight to Andy Oak's Facebook page. Just not going to happen. But I know what you're saying. Government cuts are terrible. Yeah, they are, Linda. But it's like we've said in the past, Linda. It's you know, they want to get help. Okay, people want to get help, but then do they have to go through the process of being put in sheltered accommodation, experiencing the violence and the theft and everything that goes on with the sheltered accommodation? Do they have to go through that to enable to get the help that they want, that the system is offering? Or is it not better just to stay on the streets? You know what I'm saying? For them to get a foot in what the help that they require, the help that they are seeking, do they have to experience the violence, the mental health issues, the theft, everything that goes on in sheltered accommodation? Do they have to experience that to be in the system to get the help that they require? That's what I'm asking. Because I know it's like, if they're on the streets, no fixed abode, no address, no communication, no postal address or anything like that, appointments and things. Whereas if they're in sheltered accommodation, or I don't know what the words are for them, the correct terms, that they have to go through that to get the help. I'd imagine they do, because then they've got a fixed address. But they shouldn't have to go through that to get the help. But where does it stop? Where does it start? Where does it stop? Finances. It all comes down to money. Done quiet now. Normally, that is part of the process, unfortunately. Yeah, see, that's the shit part, Linda. But that's where it's, somebody who really, you and I, we've discussed all this. Somebody who wants to get the help, who is honest, who needs the help, will be reluctant to sort the help because they know they'd have to experience that. How wrong is that? And somebody could just be in a facility just to have a roof over their head, who has got no intention or doesn't even want to get the help to get clean. That's the part that pisses me off. Rightly or wrongly, it pisses me off, But what pissed me off is the poor young man who felt safer living on the streets rather than being in the sheltered housing because of what goes on. That's very sad in today's world. But I guess it's like, where do you start with it? What's the starting point in putting it right? May not know. Just looking back. Yeah, it's gone quiet, isn't it? The people that don't want help. No, what? No, what pisses me off, Rick, is the person who's living on the streets, who feels safer to be on the streets, who really wants the help, won't get in the system because they don't want to, they fear going into social housing or sheltered accommodation, shall we say. And there's people in sheltered accommodation who have no intention of getting help, who don't want the help, but they've got the roof over their head, but they're preventing people who really want the help from getting the help because of the way it is inside the sheltered accommodation. You know what I mean? That's why people don't like being told what to do. That's why people, maybe the homeless can use the jobs, correspondence, just for benefits, etc. They don't like it now. But they can. Oh, right, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that's a good facility, that, Linda. I was unaware of that. They don't make it. Right. So that's worth spreading the word, isn't it? If you see a homeless person, that they can use the job centre as an address, which is worth everyone doing. But yeah, Rick, thanks for that, Linda. Rick, do you know what I mean? You know, if somebody's in sheltered accommodation who has no intention of getting the help and is running riot and who is perhaps a person who, you know, who is violent towards others, who is stealing off others, if that person is preventing, or for the sake of a roof over their head and the next bits, you know, but because of the conditions that they're creating, it's stopping a person who really wants the help, who really wants to sort their lives out, but is not prepared. He doesn't feel safe in sheltered accommodation. That's what pisses me off. That way you can arrange appointments. Ah, right. I see. Yeah, I'm with you. So even whilst somebody's living under a bridge, they can still be in the system. Is that what you're saying? Quite knowledgeable on this, Linda, aren't you? Yeah, that's right. It's up to the individual, Linda, isn't it? You know, but I guess, you know, it still shouldn't be happening, but it's happening in this day and age, which is a shame. But right, cool. We acknowledge that, and yeah, she's not bad. Not a bad egg, Rick. She moans a lot now and again, you know, but right, I'm gonna call it a day there, chaps and chapesses. Been on an hour exactly. Thanks everybody for dropping in. Great chat again. Thanks for everybody who contributed. Great to see new names in there too, even if they were lurking. But yeah, no, brilliant. Thanks very much, everyone, and I shall speak to you all soon. Take care. Ciao for now.